What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to talk about some big earnings that just came out, what you should be watching for on the charts moving forward, and how things are looking in my personal opinion. But before I break any devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. And the offer ends very soon, in just about 8 days from now. Anyways, for SPY, I just wanted to mention that we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure that's developing right over here. If we break this resistance at 555.2, we could be looking for a bigger push towards these imbalances, towards the 556s and 558s. However, if we fail to do so, this is going to possibly get a rug pull as well, because we also have these critical supports to watch for, not to mention this gap below. So I'm going to be talking about whether or not this is a trap and how you should be going about this when it comes to trading and such. But first, just know this. There's not really much data coming out for today. At 10 o'clock a.m., we have some Richmond Fed manufacturing shipments, and then Fed services data. It's all very, very minor, so don't really expect too much in terms of volatility on the economic calendar for today. But for earnings, I just want to call this out. Later on today, okay, after the market closes, we have Tesla and Alphabet announcing their earnings, Alphabet/Google, that is. Tesla's going to be the biggest one because Tesla will give us more insights on how things are looking for projections for the EV markets. We're going to see some insights on AI, what Musk has to say about other factors, and all these different things are coming out for Tesla. So make sure you watch for that very carefully after the market ends up closing. Before the market opened today, however, we had Spotify, UPS, GM, and Coca-Cola announcing their earnings. GM ended up exceeding the second quarter estimates. It's going to restructure its Chinese business as well. EPS is at $3.06 a share adjusted, with revenue at $48 billion above expectations, which is actually some very, very bullish news. They're also looking at net income increasing by about 14.3%, which is not bad whatsoever. So good earnings from GM, decent guidance, which is part of why the share price is actually up right now. Coca-Cola also did very, very well. They topped earnings estimates, they hiked their full year outlook, and global demand is continuing to rise. So, not bad whatsoever for them. They beat on EPS, they beat on revenue with over $12.36 billion. Their overall outlook is looking bullish, and they're actually talking about some more growth moving forward. So, good news, at least from Coca-Cola. Very, very bullish, in my personal opinion. Some more news that's worth noting is the fact that Tesla shares are actually up quite a bit ahead of earnings, and that's actually very, very interesting to watch for. Now, I just want to mention that don't really worry too much about what Tesla does today. I'm not too worried about it, but what's going to matter is how things are moving. Sorry, did I say earnings tomorrow? This article came out yesterday. Tomorrow is today, so earnings are after the market closes, guys. Quick correction there. Sorry about that. But don't forget, Tesla is announcing its earnings today after market close, and don't worry too much about what it does today during the open hours. What matters more is going to be what happens after earnings come out. So anyways, let's talk about SPY and the others. So we have a very, very big test right now that's coming out on SPY. We have this 200 EMA around 555.2. If we were to break this, then yes, we could be pushing for 556.8 and eventually 558, and this inverse head and shoulders will play out. However, this is going to be a tough resistance. If we fail to break this, make sure you watch support at 553.6. If that fails, this will be dipping all the way down here to this imbalance towards 552. So I'm kind of in the middle right now. I do like the setup, which technically favors bulls. We have to watch to see if we can break 555.2 or not. That's going to be a key resistance on SPY, so watch for that. And see if we break this. If we do break this, it'll be a bigger push. So just be very, very patient. For Nvda, we have a nice inverse head and shoulders double bottom like structure. If we break past 124, we'll be looking for this gap fill towards 126. If we lose 122, we'll be dipping all the way down towards 120. Now, I like the double bottom. I like the structure that's forming, so this does favor upside. If we break 124, we'll be looking for the gap fill all the way up to 126. So we'll see if that ends up being the case or not. For Bitcoin, we're kind of dipping a little bit. We have a distributive structure that's developing. If we lose support from this structure at 66,345, I think Bitcoin could be dipping down to about the 65,000s. So just be careful, guys. There is a risk of downside on this chart, especially as we're below our 50 EMA. So just be careful with Bitcoin. For Tesla is trying to uptrend as long as we hold our 20 EMA to 252. If we lose 252, look for 249. If that fails, this will be a bigger dip. As if we hold 252, we're going to be looking for an uptrend. We could be looking for a push all the way up towards basically very close to 258. I think that Tesla might try to push for 258 or so. If that breaks, 262 is next. We might push a little bit higher into the 258 area, then just continue to consolidate if we do get a bounce here. But honestly, guys, it doesn't really matter. I'm not too worried about what Tesla does right now. Technicals obviously look more bullish right now, but I'm not too worried because it depends on different factors. Depends on what happens with earnings and such. So just be prepared for that. On the QQQ, watch 483's resistance and 485. Watch support at 480. If we lose that, we'll be looking at 478. And if that breaks, we have a gap to fill down here. With this inverse head and shoulders, there's upside potential for 485. I do see potential in the QQQ, but we have to break that to remain bullish. And if we fail to do so, we're just going to be kind of stuck. So give this some time and see what this ends up doing. I'll be watching our key 200 EMA, this key resistance. For Aapl, we have kind of like a weak structure right here. There is a risk of this dipping. Look at 222 is important, 224 as resistance. I do see a risk of this dipping down to 222. So this might be actually dropping a little bit downwards. So I see a risk of this kind of turning back down to 222. Aapl may dip a little bit, so just be very careful with this, at least moving forward. For the IWM, we have 219 as support. If we lose this, we'll be dipping all the way down to about 217.7. And if we break past 220, I'll be looking for a push for 222 plus. This is looking a little bit weak. This could be a possible inverse cup and handle, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. We'll have to see where we end up holding support. So I do see a little bit of a dip coming before it tries to change its structure. Coinbase is dipping a little bit, looking support at 260. If we lose that, look for 258. If you hold that, look for a rebound for 262. But I'm seeing a little bit of a dip coming. So just be careful with that. Amazon's trading between 182 and 185. We're stuck within that range. If we break 185, we could be looking for 187. Otherwise, we're just trading sideways. There's an inverse head and shoulders that gives us some potential, but we need to see if this could break out. It is making lower highs and lower lows, so I'm a little concerned it might actually end up coming down, and this inverse head and shoulders may fail. So just be careful. Watch the range. If we lose 182, we turn bearish. No signs of that yet. Meta has a bullish wedge-like structure, but we have to break 490. If we break 490, look for 495. If we fail to do so, look at 485 as key support. And if that breaks, we turn back down. So we're just kind of shuffling right now. There's a wedge forming that does give it some upside potential, but there's no guarantee yet. So just be patient with this. For Microsoft, we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure that's kind of forming right here. If we break past 444, we'll be looking for a push all the way up towards 440, basically the gap fill at 448. If we end up losing 442, we'll be dipping all the way down towards 440. I favor that's going to be breaking past 444.4, trying to break that resistance to fill the gap. It looks a little bit more probable, but we'll have to see for confirmation. For Google, we have a nice double bottom. It does favor upside a bit more for 185 plus, which is where we have this resistance. But just to be safe, we'll have to watch and see if that ends up being the case. And we want to be very, very open-minded nonetheless. With that being said, just know that Google and Tesla have earnings after the market closes. I can't wait to see what ends up coming out with them. I can't wait to see any AI news. So with that being said, have a great day, guys. And I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you and peace out.